This is the Obro Owen Brody, and this is Wrestling with Entertainment.
This is the Trophy Boy, Tyler Klein, the designer to the wrestling world, and you are listening to the Wrestling with Entertainment podcast.
Hey guys, this is Robin Renegade, and you're listening in on Wrestling with Entertainment.
This is the baddest black belt, Janai Kai, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
This is the Suplex Assassin, Alex Kane, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
What's up, dudes, dudettes, and non-binaries? You're listening to the Wrestling with Entertainment podcast with the incredible one, the neon phenomenon, the baller, the shot caller, the man who makes all the ladies holler, Anthony Idol.
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and the WrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hello, and welcome to the show at Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers on Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WrestlingWithE for 10% off your next purchase. I am, of course, your host, James J., with Kaliko Yachts, who is not here tonight, but who is Scooter Dust.
Hello, and I am the one who put the bump in the bump you bump.
And it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with Brutal Bob Evans.
What's up, guys? How are you? Every day in this beautiful business of ours is a great day, and I'm happy to be here with the Wrestling with Entertainment. And you guys have prepped me. You're gonna lace me. I'm just looking forward to all these great questions, and I'm looking forward to being a part of this, and can't wait.
Kind of glad the audio cut out a little there.
What else is new?
Yeah,
Technology, it's a hell of a thing.
it's a normal day here.
Bob,
Yep.
could you tell us what you got coming up next, and where we can find you on social media?
Well, really, the biggest thing I've been talking about lately, guys, is the WrestleLife.com, and it's an online independent community for anyone who's involved in wrestling or independent wrestling. Anybody who wants to make this just a weekend jam or a very healthy part-time income or even a full-time income. We just had a couple people able to quit their jobs and be able to do this as a full-time deal. And I'd love to say that it was just me, but it wasn't just me, but I had a big part in it. And a lot of the things that I teach in my Hangs with Bob seminars are available on the WrestleLife.com. And we're giving everybody, all your listeners, if you're a fan, you can check this out as well. But if you're an independent wrestler, it's really just a giant toolbox of information to learn how to make more money, honor your family, not go crazy, and keep a job and do this business any way that you want to do it. And I'm giving all your listeners a 14-day free trial. Just go on there, click the banner, and check it out. And you guys can enjoy that for 14 days for free, and all kinds of cool content in there. And the WrestleLife page is a great page on there. We have some free classes on there. If you don't quite trust me yet,
We trust
feel
you, Bob.
free to go on the Facebook page and check it out. But well,
Oh,
all my wrestling friends and get everybody rolling. So, dang it, I'm getting all kinds of. Is it better now?
Yeah.
yes.
Yes,
Guys,
you're
is
better.
it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
And just so, just to elaborate, that's not just for in-ring performers, is it?
Right. No,
For
it's
referees, ring
we
announcers,
have
everything in between.
referees, ring announcers, podcasters. That's what I was mentioning before.
Ah,
All kinds of, and anybody involved in the wrestling business. So if you have anything to do, you're tied into independent wrestling, or if you're somebody who's wants to be in the professional wrestling industry, somebody who's been thinking about training, this is a good way to check out some important tools and see what you might need to get ready, because pretty soon I'm going to be handing out pro wrestling starter kits for people that want to get into wrestling. But that's a sneak peek that I just announced on your show. So that's going to
that
happen
is incredible.
probably in the fall. So
You heard it right here, folks.
oh yeah.
Here first, wrestling with.
And here's the biggest thing too, guys. It'll be free. How about that?
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I think we need to change your name from Brutal Bob to Crazy Bob, because these prices are crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. There you go.
And all your social media links, WrestleLife, all of that good stuff will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox.
Great, fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. We do it right here on Wrestling Lit. Can you tell us how you started WrestleLife?
Sure. It actually starts about 10 years ago, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And I just closed my wrestling school, and I was interested in whatever my next step was going to be. I was 37 years old, and I wasn't sure exactly what my next step would be in wrestling. And then some of my students said, "Hey, man, you still have it. You should take a run and see if you can make it in one of the national companies." And I just happened to be fortunate that two of my oldest friends in wrestling, Jim Cornette and Kevin Kelly, had just taken over positions in Ring of Honor, and they kind of tipped me. I mean, they certainly didn't. I certainly earned my spot there, but they said, "Hey, we're letting you know that there's a tryout camp going to be available." So I paid my money, went to the first ever Ring of Honor tryout camp, the one that's produced so many big performers in Ring of Honor and WWE and NXT and Impact everywhere. And I earned my spot. And I held on to that spot for almost 9 years. And in those 9 years I was there, I met a lot of different people, learned a lot of different methods of training, met a lot of wrestlers from around the country, and started imparting my wisdom as well. And they said, "Man, you have a lot to teach. Would you ever want to come in and do seminars in our part of the country?" And I taught wrestling class forever. So that issue wasn't a big deal. I just hadn't really toured. I hadn't really traveled that much. I was basically a New England area wrestler, a Northeast wrestler, and didn't really travel that much. So, but once I started traveling in 2015, 2016, I really enjoyed it. I really started liking doing it, and I started figuring out a system of how to do it, because my wife told me that I couldn't take household money and travel with it. I had to find ways to do it while keeping my job. I couldn't quit my job for this, and figured out a way to do it. Well, I built it up to the point where 3 or 4 years into it, I did quit my job, and I started doing it full time in 2018 into 2019. But the problem was, guys, once I decided that wrestling was a job for me, I didn't want to do it anymore. It turned into a job, and I didn't like it anymore. I never wanted to be a full-time national wrestler. I never did. I always wanted, even if I worked 90 hours a week at wrestling and wrestled 150 matches a year, I would still call it part-time, just in my head. I need the psychology of that. And I always wanted to be a married guy, a dad and a husband with kids and a real life, and wrestling kind of be involved with that. Well, once I kind of switched to a full-time thing in 2018 or mid 2018 into early 2019, I kind of blew it. My gambling addiction came back. I really started getting into some really dark stuff, and it didn't really serve me well. So in 2019, I kind of dug my heels in. I came clean to my wife and got into the game. In early 2019, I finally just all came to crashing down on me, guys. I had my gambling addiction.
There we go.
Dang it, man. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those days, I guess.
Oh yeah, we've been there.
Yep. So anyway, I came clean to my wife, and I got this courier job, which I'm talking to you guys on right now. So, and the courier job has really helped me kind of line up wrestling as well. And I had a great 2019 where I put wrestling in its place, made as much money as I was when I was doing it full time, and then did the courier job full time. So it was great. It really helped enhance my income and put it right where it needed to be. But for that 8 or 10 months, guys, when I just didn't know how to do wrestling well, it really almost sank me. So now I just really have dug into this, making sure that wrestling doesn't drive you crazy. You do the wrestling business any way you want to, whether you want to do it, again, weekend warrior, part-time, full-time, however you want to do it. That's where you have to be. And I try to get people set up for that. I try to set them up at the site, which is why I give a 14-day free trial, because I'm not afraid of anything. You guys wouldn't stand for it anyway. If you're going to hold me to a high standard, just like you guys do on your show, then you'd call me out on my BS if I tried to tell you that I'm trying to snow you guys or trick you guys or something like that. So I give people 2 weeks, check out the site, and I feel so strongly that they'll pay that $49 a month. But you know why they'll pay that $49 a month? Because I'm going to give them the value equivalent to maybe $500, $600, $700 a month. If they listen to me and do the blueprint, they'll be able to increase their wrestling income that much if they do it right. Now, nothing's guaranteed, and they might screw it up a little bit in the beginning. But even if I'm half right and you do $250, $200, $250, you're still 5X ahead of me. And like I said, if I said, hey, man, give me $50 and I'll give you 500 back, that's a great deal for you and a bad deal for me. So, and that's what I try to do. I try to give people 10X, 20X the value of anything that I give out there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And
It's good.
go ahead. Go ahead, James.
No, I was just going to follow up question. What do
Sure.
you think was maybe the mental block for you that, you could do wrestling like almost full time and not call it a job, but when you finally did call it a job, that's kind of where it kind of got messy for you?
You're the first one, James, out of all the people that I must have done 100 podcasts in the last 6 months. You're the first guy that's asked me that question. So congratulations, gold star for you.
Thank you.
And now I will give you that answer because I've had a lot of time to think about that. And what I think it was, now we'll never know 100%, right? But what I think it was that I never wanted to do wrestling full time, and I felt an inert pressure. And this is one of the things I'm fighting people on, not fist fighting, but metaphorically fighting people on, conceptually fighting, with words and concepts, but not fists. No violence. But I'm debating people on this because you know the deal. If you're not wrestling Drew McIntyre for the belt at WrestleMania, then you must be a dirtbag who doesn't make any money and does drugs in the back and steals from everybody and has 50 kids out of wedlock and no teeth. And you can't just be a regular dude who loves wrestling and maybe is a talented guy, but a talented minor league guy instead of a talented major league guy. Hey, look, I went to Ring of Honor and I realized that I was never going to be Jay Lethal. I had different gifts than Jay Lethal did. Jay Lethal's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I wasn't. I was one of the best wrestlers in New England, and I'm one of the best wrestlers on any independent show I'm on, but I'm not one of the best wrestlers in the world. But that doesn't mean that I can't teach you the concepts that the best wrestlers in the world taught me in the ring. And as far as a trainer goes, I'm one of the best trainers in the world. I'll stand by that every day.
Oh, absolutely.
I can get you to be one of the best in the world, but I can't. One of the best days of my life was when Mike Bennett was a better wrestler than I was. That was fine with me. I have no problem with that. In fact, I should be encouraging that. Mike Bennett, I've trained Mike for 20 years. I've known Mike since he was 18.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to, oh yeah. So the deal with that is, I think that I wanted to be this middle ground, middle class kind of guy where I had a nice income from wrestling, but I also had a life. And there were a couple times I've gone away, man, and you go away for a week when your kids are young, you come back, your kids look different. And that's just not, that's not where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be this touring guy who toured 4 or 5 days a week and every week with not a lot of time off. And then you get home and you're washing everything and you're doing laundry for a day and paying your bills and you're going right back on the road again. I didn't want to be that guy. And I don't think I was good enough to be that guy anyway. So, but even if I was, I never had the drive to do it. I liked my spot in Ring of Honor, and I love being a part-time national and international guy. I think that's right where I should be. But I know what it takes to be a full-time person. I just didn't want to do it, but I knew what it took. I don't have excuses as far as, oh, people were against me and politics and all this. To me, that's all nonsense. Politics are always going to exist. You got to rise above it.
Right.
There's always going to be somebody against you. There's always going to be somebody better than you. There's always going to be this. There's always going to be that. And you have to figure it out, pivot, figure out a plan, execute it, and adjust it as necessary. That's just life. That's anything. That's not just wrestling, guys. That's everything. So I know what to do, and I can give you the plan. It's not the plan for me. Now, as far as training people and running a community that, like I said, I want 1,000 people in this community. I want to help as many people as I can. And I want to make you guys as much money as I can, all the wrestlers out there and anybody in wrestling. That's what I want to do. So I'll be world-class at that. But as far as just being a wrestler myself and being a national product who, wrestles Brock Lesnar for the belt at WrestleMania, nah, man. I'm the guy Brock Lesnar pushes out of the way at security to get to Roman Reigns. I know that, and that's fine. Hey, at least Brock Lesnar put his hands on me, I don't have to be great. I don't have to be the best wrestler. I just have to help the best wrestler become an even better wrestler. And I have to learn the lessons from that wrestler and teach them to the people behind me to pull them up, because not everybody is a teacher. So I'm one of the people that I can do to a certain level, but I'd be lying to you if I said I was a world-class. I'm a world-class coach, but I'm not a world-class wrestler. I'm a damn good wrestler, but as far as world-class, top of the line, no, that's for other people to do. That's a different journey.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Pop.
All right.
Scooter, you have a question.
Money, guys. 95% of the people. Right, but I know. Yep.
Okay. Now, I suppose now, you are our most storied guest. You've had the longest career out of anybody we've had here on the show. So it's safe to say you've been an eagle-eye witness to the evolution of pro wrestling from an attraction to an industry.
Mm-hmm.
My question here is, how difficult would you say it is now to break into wrestling than it was back when you first started?
Well, I think the barrier of entry is lower, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the barrier to success is any lower. Just like there's a million guys on YouTube, there's a million guys on podcasts, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be, Conrad talking to Bruce Pritchard about everything. I mean, it's not like they're going to necessarily be all these people that have 10 million YouTube views that my son and daughter watch, and I watch with them sometimes. It just because you're on YouTube, that doesn't mean that you're a big celebrity. My son has about 580 more YouTube subscribers than I do. My son has 600 YouTube people, and I have about 20, because YouTube's not really my platform.
Right.
But I have some stuff on there, but it's not really my platform. So, and a lot of people again, it's going to come down to talent, but it's also going to come down to skill. Talent is what God gives you. Skill is what you do with it. You can have all the talent in the world if you sit home and don't do anything with it, or say, well, I was the best high school basketball player, so I'm going to be the best NBA basketball player. That's just not how it works. Eventually, you have to build the skills to keep going, and you have to see what the marketplace does and run with it. So I think you can get in easier because social media and lots of schools are on Facebook and things like that. So it's a lot easier than when I got in. But I think it's about the same as far as quote unquote making it. You know, because again, there's going to be roadblocks thrown in front of you every step of the way. And it depends how many roadblocks you want to go through, go up and over, go under to keep continuing. And sometimes you say, well, I'm done and I don't want to do it anymore. And that's usually what happens. People get discouraged, or they get tired, or they just don't want to do it anymore. You know, some people don't quit because they're losers or quitters. Some people quit because they're just like, well, I've had my fun and I don't really feel like taking it any further, and that's okay.
Right.
So I just want to do other things. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's all different. So that's really my answer. My answer is it's easier to get in, but I think it's really about the same to make money and be successful and things like that. So that's why I try to give people a blueprint, learn from, like you said, I've been in for a long time, almost 30 years. So I've tried to give people, hey man, I effed up here. I screwed up here. I stumbled and fell here. I made a mistake here. Don't make those mistakes. Now, sometimes you just have to make your own mistakes. But if I can help you avoid a few mistakes, then I've done my job.
Just two quick follow-up little notes on that.
Sure.
And these are just little things for me. One, my brother-in-law, and I'm using air quotes, is Mike Johnson.
Okay, I know Mike. Yep.
He's known my nephew, my godson, since he was born. He's married to my sister's best friend, but just talking about. And you mentioned the whole social media thing and how we're seeing so many. You know, there was a whole social media gate, issue with everybody. But
sure.
The other thing is, I just have to get in another cheap plug here. I had occasionally James will join us as well. I am part of a Twitch channel with the son of Rico Constantino.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's social media it can be a blessing or a curse. You know, I have my tag team partner and I, Tim Hughes, we have 2 classes in the WrestleLife.com. So I'll plug right back at you. I'll meet your plug with a plug. But it is what we're talking about. So at least I'm meeting you where you are on the road, right? So, but Tim and I have the 5 do's of social media and the 5 don'ts of social media. So, and there, and it's a lot of common sense stuff, but common sense ain't so common these days, guys. So
especially on Twitter and Reddit.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why Twitter isn't really, it's not a main platform for me. I'm so glad that we can tell people not to reply. You can pick people not to reply now, which is great because, just some of the clowns that would jump on my stuff, and then not necessarily my stuff as much, but, it's
just people just want to antagonize you just to antagonize you.
Well, and the thing is, too, it's like you say anything in support of somebody in NXT, and then they're like, one guy was like, oh, Bob, you're just trying to get a job in NXT. And I'm like, buddy, if I wanted a job in NXT, I would have had one by now. You don't know who I talk to and who offers me jobs and who doesn't offer me jobs. Yeah. So, I don't have to petition in the public access. I can call people tomorrow and ask that question. They might not offer me a job, but I can certainly ask the question. I don't have to play games publicly. I have plenty of friends, and I'm not bragging. I just been around so long. You just have friends that go places and do things. So you can get information. I don't have to play these games. So, and I just don't feel like debating with people who are uninformed. If you're informed on the subject, let's have a debate. Let's talk about it. You may have a different opinion, but let's talk about it. Educate me. Maybe I made a mistake. But if you're just speculating and running around saying your opinion is fact, I'm not really interested. So that's that.
Now, you worked for WWE when you were 20. Maybe 2 years into your wrestling career.
I did.
So, how did that come about? What was your reaction at that time, and what was the feedback after that first match?
There was zero feedback.
Oh.
They didn't really talk to you.
In the words
They
of
would
Al
hire
Snow,
20 jobs.
pin me, pay me, essentially.
Nope.
In the words of Al Snow, pin me, pay me.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
essentially.
it wasn't contentious. It was, everybody was friendly enough, but it's a lot more inclusive now. Back then, you were just kind of a piece of meat that they used to beat up because that's what the TV shows were. So you were basically, a guy who got beat up on TV. They used to be he's just a guy who gets beat up, a local guy who gets beat up on TV. So that's kind of what I did. But I wrestled Adam Bomb years ago, and he was great, nice guy. Johnny Polo, Raven, he was good, nice guy.
Yeah.
And that was about it. I mean, it really wasn't a lot of guidance. It was the first match that they pretty much laid out for me because they didn't know me, and it's TV, so they wanted to. I was used to wrestling on the fly even back then, so it was interesting to kind of lay out the match, but it was fine. It was good. He was great, and it was later on I got to wrestle in that same building for Ring of Honor, so that was pretty cool, and I got my win back. Not on Anabom, but Tim and I, my tag team partner Tim Hughes and I, Tough Guy Inc. We beat a team in a dark match, so we got our win back.
That's what matters.
Exactly. Wins and losses matter in pro wrestling. Exactly. So, it's a big deal to me, guys. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't get my hand raised.
Well, you brought him up. Your tag team partner and Tough Guy Inc., Tim Hughes.
Yep.
Can you tell me how you met him and what's your relationship with him like?
Sure. Yeah. Relationship is great. Tim's like a little brother to me. He's a great guy, and we're very close. Don't see him as much as I'd like to because of international circumstances and such things such as pandemics. But we just started teaming together recently, so hopefully that'll continue. Maybe not to the degree it did, but not because of anything personal. Just we're being taken in different professional ways, and God bless him. He's growing up, and he's got to fly the coop one of these days. But yeah, Tim, I met Tim at the Monster Factory years ago when I was doing a seminar for Danny Cage at the Monster Factory in New Jersey, and Tim was over there. And then later on, I was coaching at a Ring of Honor tryout, and Tim was there, and they commented that Tim looked a lot like my son, and we kind of ran with it, and we did we did some stuff at the seminar where I helped him out, and we did some like tryout stuff, and they liked it, so they had us team together in Ring of Honor for a little while, and then they kind of stopped using us because they couldn't really figure out what to do with us, so we just started going out on the road. And at that point, we got out of kind of the Ring of Honor business and got into the Tough Guy Inc. business. And we became one of the biggest touring independent tag teams in wrestling for the next 4 years. So it's, and like I said, I'm super grateful for that time, and we're still going to visit it hopefully often. I know we're teaming next month in a couple times, so that'll be great.
Awesome.
And but Tim's really he's getting into personal training. He lost a bunch of weight, and he's really hit the weights, and he looks great, and he's really gotten into physical fitness, and he wants to teach people, especially the older people, how to keep their bodies strong and kind of fight the aging process, and really empower older people and really teach them that they can be strong and vital and things like that. And since people are going to start living till they're 80, 90, 100 years old much more regularly, I think it's a great business for him to get into. And he's going to be doing that, and he's going to be helping out back at the Monster Factory because things come around full circle again. And now he's back there, and he's in mentoring capacity, helping out Danny. He's not a young rookie anymore. And he'll be touring with me and doing a lot of stuff in New Jersey, Delaware, New York, that area. So it's I'm real happy to see him. The funniest thing is Tim looks older than he is. He's actually 30. He's 30 years old, but he looks my age. I'm 49, and I pick on him about it all the time. But so people think we're much closer in age than we really are. And so Tim's got a lot of miles left and a lot of stuff to add to the wrestling business, and I'm sure I'll be a part of a lot of it. And Tim's going to do a lot on his own too. So, but yeah, he's doing great. I just talked to him last week. He's doing phenomenal. Got a great girlfriend, great committed relationship, and they have a nice apartment in New Jersey, a nice dog, Greta, and she's great. So they're doing awesome. So he's living that lifestyle.
He's using that WrestleLife, right?
He is. He can quote a lot of my stuff by heart just because he's helped me at 200 seminars. So, I've done about 250, and I think Tim's been on about 80% of them. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, you ride along, you gotta do the whole thing. So, but he's definitely a proponent of it and tells people about it, and it's cool. So yeah, Tim's definitely a part of that WrestleLife team. Sure.
All right. Scooter, you have one question.
Now, of course, age is always a touchy subject, and when it comes to superstars who found their place in the spotlight in their later years, there's really only two people I could think of. And one is Diamond Dallas Page, and the other is you, Bob. My question here, you were aiming to prove something back in 2012 at the age of 42. And this is still one of the most talked about concepts in the history of independent wrestling. And of course, I'm talking about Iron Week. 7 Iron Man matches, 1 a day for a week. What provoked the concept of Iron Week, and what reasons did you choose the opponents you chose? Because there were clearly some personal connections, but we'd like to know the whole story if possible.
Well, first of all, I love how you basically asked very nicely, what the hell were you thinking? So that's good. So I'll tell you what the hell I was thinking. And I was only 40, so don't be adding age. I'm old enough. I'll be 49 in September. That's old enough, guys.
No, it was that 2 at the end of the year. It was the 2 at the end of the year that confused me.
Yes. So I'm 9372. Look it up. I can prove it. I got a license and everything. But yeah, no. And actually, here's something that most people don't know, because I didn't have a thing to do with my Wikipedia page, but it's very accurate. But I had nothing to do with it. I actually want to know the person that put it on, because they did a great job. But I actually did one 3 years before, and I did 6 Iron Man matches over 6 days with 6 different opponents. And that one I did, but I didn't really have any national footprint yet. So in 2012, I had a little bit more of a national footprint. So that's the one that people remember a little bit more. Plus, again, more social media, and I would have done a much better job this time of doing it. But yeah, the idea was, it was kind of me defending the business and defending all the local boys and girls. But I said, I think I can take 7 kids, most people I hadn't wrestled yet, and I can get an hour out of them, calling it on the fly, and I bet they'll have a hell of a match. And I did. And I did it to prove, obviously, it was a publicity stunt to a certain degree, but the stunt ends once you get in the ring and you have to do the stuff, right? It's not a stunt anymore. So, and then, I picked people that I really liked in the business. I picked people that I really thought would do well with a leg up with publicity, I wish I could take credit for Adam Cole's career. I cannot.
Take it.
But I can take it all I want, but he's going to give it to me. I think, and by the way, he just celebrated a birthday recently. This is his birthday month, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Adam Cole.
Yes, he's no, not me, him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right. Gotcha. You clipped out a little bit with our fantastic technology here. So,
yeah.
But I wished him a happy birthday, and he got back to me, so that's a good thing. So he didn't forget where he came from. But I wanted to wrestle people I liked and respected and trusted in the ring, and just I thought needed a little bit of a push, or needed a little bit of a, and I got to wrestle some really cool people. I wrestled Grizzly Redwood, who was a guy that I had wrestled in a quick match in Massachusetts, but I wanted to wrestle him, and the guy screwed up on the time, so I think we actually wrestled for like 75 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea, but and Cheeseburger was the referee, which is funny because I don't even know if he was wrestling for the company yet. And then
if only he knew.
Yeah. See, he screwed me that day, and that's why I didn't like him anymore. See? But that was before any of our history. But
you funded him and then crushed him.
There you go. And I wrestled Adam Cole, Vinny Marseglia, who you guys know as Vincent now.
Yeah.
I wrestled a few local guys who were real good, Todd Sopel and Julian Starr, Antonio the Promise Thomas, and a guy named Biff Busick, who might have done something in NXT as Only Lorcan a few times.
Mm.
He grew up 2 towns away from me, but Biff was actually a last minute. My Thursday guy dropped out, and I needed a Thursday. So Biff and I wrestled. We found a ring. Somebody was willing to open a ring at 1 p.m. on a Thursday to keep the streak going. So he saved my week. So we wrestled in front of no people in a practice ring from 1 to 2, or 1:30 to 2:30, whatever it was. And that was it. So, so it was a great time. And boy, I was pretty tired at the end. And I worked my job that week. That was one of the things that's kind of like a thing I did as part of like the challenge. You had to keep your 40-hour-a-week job. And then I had a match the last day when I wrestled Vinny Marseglia the last match in the afternoon and we were at a show, and then we did a 15-minute tag match after. So
wow.
And that was the most painful 15-minute tag match I've ever been in, because it was really a 7-hour and 15-minute tag match if you think about it. So because now the adrenaline's gone, and you've settled into, okay, I did this, and it's really cool, and it's an accomplishment, and I was proud of myself. And then it's like, yeah, man, but you got to go out there and wrestle for 15 minutes now. It's like, oh crap, okay, well, here we go. So, but I did it, got through it, and it was a blast. So it's something I'm real proud of. I toy with the idea of doing another one every single year. I tease everybody every single year, and slowly working myself back into shape. The COVID thing hit us all, I'm sure. So, but I'm in the gym. I'm strong. My win's pretty good. I've had a few matches back already, and I've been happy with the results. So I'm just going to wrestle some more and see how I feel, and then we'll see if we can do it again. This time I'm going to do it for charity, though. So I'll do
awesome.
I'll do the week, and then I'll do half for my charity and half for my opponent's charity, and I'll probably just do Autism Speaks all week because my son has autism. So it'll be just something that hits close to home. So and we'll get some good publicity, and maybe do some Facebook Live stuff and whatnot. So it'll be cool. If I ever get off my rear end and get it all scheduled, then it'll be exciting, and maybe I can come back on the podcast and we'll plug it then. So
without a doubt.
Yeah. And Bob, from one father of an autistic child to another, that is absolutely incredible. That I mean, we're
well, it's a weird. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, we're charity advocates here, primarily leading towards mental health awareness and autism awareness slowly after that. But again, this is just me personally as a the father of a 10-year-old autistic boy. That just it's
It's hard.
it's hard, and people don't know how much It's just, but we wouldn't give it up for anything in the world, would we?
No, man, it's been very educational, and I was fortunate because about 2 years before my Robbie got here, Steve the Turtle Weiner came into my life, and I trained Steve, and you guys might know Steve from Chikara and some of the early Ring of Honor stuff. But Steve was mine in the beginning, and I got real close to Steve. He's still a good buddy of mine, and I really feel like the universe gave, I'm a God guy, but I really feel like God gave me Steve to get me ready for my son, and I think it really helped to a certain degree. And my Robbie is 14. He's 6 feet tall, and he's kicking butt, doing well in school, and he's fully integrated and fairly high functioning, and he's making mom and dad proud, and so he got his little sister is very supportive and very protective of him. Katie's not on the spectrum. She's more of a quote unquote normal kid. She's 12, but man, I'm fortunate. I got a great wife, and 2 great kids, so I'm in a good place. So it's but yeah, man, if it can be a challenge. It can be a challenge, and but God doesn't give you anything you can't handle. So just
definitely
hang in there, So
now, piggybacking back off the Iron Man match question, the weirdest question you'll ever be asked on a wrestling podcast. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, Swiddle.
Not the country.
An actual Rock.
An actual Rock, like a stone?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been to some gym classes, and I've been to some, I shout out to my gym, 212 Health and Performance, where I've had to lift a stone before, like a big Atlas stone. Now, would that count as actually fighting a Rock? It wasn't a sanctioned match, but it was like an exhibition.
I feel like
So
there
could
needs
that
to be
count
a
as like
referee there to count a three count.
Oh, so it's just, well, there's no shoulders though. Like, how are you going to pin the Rock? You'd have to. It's either a knockout, right? And how can you tell if a Rock is knocked out?
Well, in the pandemic, people find all sorts of crazy ways, and our friends up in Backyard Pro in Ontario found a way.
There's this guy named Psycho Mike that wrestled a Rock.
Oh, I know Psycho Mike very well.
Yeah, and he outdid you. He did a Iron Man match that lasted for a total of 2 weeks.
Well, he definitely outdid me. He definitely outdid me. I can't touch that. So he's the man. He's the man. Well, knowing Psycho Mike like I do, this doesn't surprise me. The man's an excellent cardiovascular health. Yes. And probably had a lot of time on his hands because he doesn't work well with others. So
well, that explains it all, why he wrestled inanimate objects and himself.
Exactly. Well, Psycho Mike's so good, I'm sure he could make the Rock look like the actual stone, that Rock.
Yeah.
He could, I'm sure he made it look great. I actually wrestled him briefly in a 6-man match, and this was probably 12 years ago, and he was good back then. So I can imagine how good he is now. So
unfortunately, not good enough to beat the Rock. They tied.
Well, it's 2 weeks is a long time, guys. It's the waiting game. It's a war of attrition at that point, right? I mean,
that's when it went from iron to tungsten.
Yes.
Exactly. It's just that's what happens.
And we'll start with Kaliko's colossal question. You've been in this business a very long time.
So I mean, and 2 weeks again. It's a war of attrition. It's a waiting game. At that point.
Well, it was 319 to 319. That's how it ended. So, going to the colossal question, you've been in the wrestling business a long time. Movie worthy. If they were to make a movie about your wrestling career, Bob, what would be the first 3 songs on the soundtrack?
Oh, what would be the first 3 songs on the soundtrack? My goodness. Probably some sort of an orchestral, like some sort of a sunny. I always have a pretty good outlook on everything, so it would have to be kind of like a rock, like something that gets you going.
Like an Eye of the Tiger?
Or
no, that's a little too on the nose. It's not me.
Quiet Riot?
So, probably something a little more poppy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know why ABBA is jumping into my brain.
Well,
No.
I mean, I can make anything work, but we're trying to, So, and I would probably hire local because the budget of this movie would probably reflect the music that we use. So, we're probably going to go local and keep a small budget,
No, let's say it's a big blown out Warner Brothers production.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe Walking on Sunshine. There you go. That's a good one.
There we go.
There
Okay.
you go.
And then there would probably be some sort of like, we'd have to, and then we probably have some. Well, we probably have to go like into something a little more down to somewhere in the pivotal part of the movie.
So Rush.
Maybe something a little more serious.
Maybe a
And
little
then
bit Johnny?
maybe that sounds good. And then I would say probably the third one would be. Oh, let's see. I don't know. Probably a group called 3 Days Grace, and it'd be Revelation.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
But that's easy. Yes. That's easy to bounce back from with the gambling and all that, and that's something that I play a lot to kind of remind me how far I've come and the road I have to go on, and that's a good one. So, so that's So that's probably where I'd be, and yeah, man, it's so that would be it.
All right. Solid 3 picks. Well, Scooter, you have a question.
Yes. Let's. Okay. Now, of course, you mentioned this off the air, but you trained the man who trained me, Pat Buck, and it's undeniable. Pat has a passion for the business. That's undeniable, without a doubt.
Right.
However, back in 2010, when I was training, the atmosphere of the NYWC locker room was, and I hate to say this about anybody, but it was really toxic. It's not how people should be treating each other. And honestly, I felt so bad for Pat because while he had students that wanted to learn, and a few of the the good apples, like Alex and John and Tony.
Sure. Yep.
They were a couple of guys. I'm not going to name any names. Stockade. Excuse me. They made it resentful. I almost had my neck broken because no one told me to cradle my head in a tombstone. But he just looked so just unhappy to be there. And I mean,
Right.
now he's doing great and everything. But my question is, yeah, I mean, yeah, I had my bit of training, bad locker room experience. My spine's messed up.
Work out, sir.
I'm approaching 40. But it was that uncomfortableness that kind of rubbed off on me, and I
Right.
was like, I couldn't be, at the charismatic ring announcer I wanted to be.
Right.
And I had a fear I would step out of line. So, how important would you say it is that if you are an independent wrestler or a pro wrestler in general,
Yep.
should it be visible to everybody, fans and non-fans included, that they enjoy what they do? Or basically, do wrestlers who look to enjoy what they do in the ring put on better matches?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of what you see and what you've described, and I can't answer specifically to what you went through. I'm sorry it happened. But I think a lot of what we're talking about is people who are dissatisfied with their situation, maybe got bitter because they couldn't figure out their place in wrestling. And then they took it out on the guys, took it out on some of the younger guys and you and some other people. And I can't say that I haven't had my bitter moments, but I certainly don't live my life that way. And for a while, I was probably headed in that direction. And then I kind of reversed it and figured out, hey, I don't want to be that guy. I've always wanted to be the guy that was positive and all that. It's just if you're positive and you say, hey, you can do this business, and hey, it doesn't have to be us kicking the crap out of each other and being mean and all these nonsense things, then you go, well, Bob, you're just not respecting the traditions of the business. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But you got to remember, like, you guys are kind of running off revisionist history.
Yeah.
They're trying to tell you that in the early 90s, they had all these shows that drew nothing but money. I'm like, I go on shows now and I'm seeing shows that draw way better than any of the shows I was on back in the day. So they're just full of crap. They're just lying.
Yeah.
So, and I think, again, I don't know how to say it any other way, guys. If you just put yourself in service and say, how can I help somebody else? Your path will be a lot clearer because you'll get out of your own head. And being mad and taking something out on somebody because, oh, he didn't know how to take a tombstone, or look, if I ask you, hey, can you take a tombstone? And you say, no, I don't feel comfortable, I'll just do something else. I'm not interested in breaking somebody's neck. I'm not interested in trying to teach you a lesson. You're not a jerk or a mark because you don't want to take a tombstone. We're all making $20 tonight. So I'm not interested in hurting somebody to prove a point. That's not mature, grown up behavior.
So no receipts?
So no what now?
No receipts?
A few, but it was after several times telling somebody to not do something.
All right,
So,
that's understandable.
Like I had a guy who just kept, when he was picking me up off the mat, he kept cupping my ear and blasted, like he would cup and he'd smack and he'd blow air into my ear and pop my eardrum. And I said, please stop doing that.
Oh, God.
Right. And I must have said it 4 or 5 times. And finally, I just started teeing off and punching him in the face, trying to knock him out. And then it didn't work because I'm not tough. But at least I hurt him a little bit. And he said, why'd you do that? And I go, I did that because you were hurting me first. And I told you not to several times. At this point, I could go in a court of law and prove negligence and get you thrown in jail or win a civil suit against you. I said, so this is how effing serious this is to me right now. And I kind of made a big deal about it. And he learned the lesson. But I was a lot kinder than somebody else who might have just kicked him in the groin so he wouldn't have kids anymore, or stuff like that. And I mean, I was taught by one of my trainers, who I won't name but he said, keep a blade in your bag and put it in your knee pad. If somebody gets fresh with you, know how to use it. And I was like, well, that's extreme, but I got the point.
I mean,
because the point is, it's you got to defend yourself. But he wasn't doing it because he didn't like me or he was trying to hurt me. He was doing it because he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. And I didn't know any other way at that point, guys, to get his attention because I told him several times,
Right.
please stop hurting me. You're hurting me. Like you're causing me harm. Don't do it. So that's really, and maybe in my early days when I was just a moron, I might have chopped a couple of guys or done something I shouldn't have done. But I think any of those incidents were small, and I've apologized for those in the past, for whatever I did. And, but no, now it's stupid. It's just pointless. It's dumb. Doesn't teach anything. It's not fun. Even the guy, and this is gonna drive you crazy because you're gonna be like, well, why did he do it? And the answer is I don't know. But guess what? The guy that did it to you, he didn't even like himself when he did it either. So that's the thing.
Yep. Yep.
So it's one of these things where it's like nobody wins. Nobody wins in this situation, and you're still doing it. To prove some sort of archaic point that nobody really believes in anyway, they're just perpetuating the myth. It's all myth. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. I can disprove just about whatever wrestling cliche you want to throw in for me. I can disprove it in about 2 steps. There's none of this really is a thing. All these disrespect. One of the guys says, Bob caters to all these guys. They're all disrespectful. I go, I've trained 4,000 kids in the past 5 or 6 years. I can count disrespect on one hand and have fingers left over. It's just not a thing. Maybe ignorance or somebody saying something they shouldn't say or a little arrogance. Yeah. But that's not necessarily disrespect. That's nervousness or poor self-esteem or something like that. But I don't look at everything as a slight. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm not pointing at somebody and going, "Oh, you made a mistake, so you're up. You're up to something. You're trying to, it's everything's not an attack.
Right.
Sometimes a mistake is just a mistake. The whole going, running around trying to get handshake points by shaking everybody's hands in the locker room. It's like I know certain people. You go up to Gabe Sapolsky in NXT and you try to shake his hand while he's having an important conversation, he'll scream at you for 5 straight minutes. He hates it. And Jim Cornette's the same way. Like, they don't like that. It's a disruption. You obviously wait politely until they're done, like a human being would. And then you say hello. You can always wave or acknowledge them if it means that much to you. But, I mean, some people will walk up to me and go, I'm sorry I didn't shake your hand before. I'm like, you were busy or I was busy. It's fine. Like, what are you doing? We're grown adults. Why are we playing these little baby games? Yes, you should be a professional person. You should be a nice person that says hello and goodbye to people and ask how their day was, but you should do that anyway. So that it's not for you're disrespectful because you didn't shake my hand in the first 1 second I was here. Like, that's dumb.
Wrestling has nothing to do with really being a respectful human being.
Right. It's just that stuff is just it never really existed. It just wasn't a thing. Like, that's the guys that scream and yell about that are guys that just nobody else listens to them for anything else, so they get screamed at for that. They scream about that.
Yep.
So
Let's get into a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Oh, I like pineapple on pizza. I'm a ham and pineapple guy.
Ham and pineapple?
Oh, yeah. Hawaiian, baby.
Hawaiian style.
Okay, well, you might
stuff.
have a problem with Master Slamovich.
Well, that's fine. It's all good. I'll defend that. I like it. Too bad.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
What'd you say?
What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon. My goodness. I don't know enough about Pokemon to answer that. Pikachu? The little yellow guy.
Sure.
Yes.
Let's go with that. Yep.
Yeah. Or the dinosaur one.
The Charmander.
There you go. Charmander. That's perfect. I like him better.
I respect
Or
that.
her. I'm not sure. Or it.
And,
Whatever it is, it's
I've answered.
delicious.
There, the question's been answered poorly, but it's been answered.
and since we're nearing the conclusion of this interview, we're
Sure.
wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Oh boy. Okay. So this is like rapid fire.
This is our bonus round or speed round, the round where we find out who you really are, Bob. Are you ready?
Oh boy. All right. Here we go. I'm ready.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Greatest wrestler of all time is probably Ric Flair.
Worst wrestler of all time.
Ooh, boy.
And that's not the first time we've heard that as the first immediate response.
I've seen several indie wrestlers that I wouldn't care if they were bad, but their attitudes were so bad that when they were bad, I would make fun of them. If they were bad wrestlers who were supportive of the guys, then I'd go and lose to them myself. But their attitudes made them so repugnant to me that I just made fun of them and I wouldn't give them any mind. And they were making fun of guys who were a million times better than them, which made me even madder. So I don't care if you're bad. I don't. I'll even put you on my show. But if your attitude sucks, you're no good.
That is a fantastic answer.
And that's a perfect Uncle Bob answer. That's the one you're going to get from me.
God, Bob, I wish I knew you when I was training.
I wish I knew me when you were training too. That's the problem. Neither one of us knew me.
Oh my God,
I had to figure myself out first for everybody.
That's totally a me answer too.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship.
I am?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Who is your opponent?
Who's my opponent? Let's see. Past or present, my opponent. Let's see. Probably Shawn Michaels, right? He's Mr. WrestleMania. Right? Or Undertaker. Maybe I'm trying to break the streak. It's my reality. So Brock, he gets by Brock and gets by everybody else. And and then Roman Reigns is about to end it, and I run in and steal the pin like Seth Rollins.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
A little bit of rewriting history there. I love it.
Yeah, and no, we don't draw because why is this guy on TV now? But that's okay.
That was probably our best answer to date.
The most creative, right? So.
Definitely. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Oh, Real American. Come on.
That's the first time we actually had Real American as one of them.
Yeah, that's because everybody else doesn't know what they're talking about.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
different than it used to be.
I like that.
Squash, fruit or vegetable?
Oh, to me or in the world? Or is it opinion or fact? My goodness, it's a fruit, isn't it?
It is indeed a fruit.
Fruit.
Yeah.
Yes. It has seeds.
Perfect.
Our
See,
colleague,
I nailed it.
Believes it to be a vegetable because his definition of fruit is anything that goes in a fruit salad.
Your New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Well, that's more of an anecdotal answer, though. I think I wear appropriate stuff now. I don't know. Is it a number?
I mean, we've had, numbers, just their opinion. It's your personal opinion on it.
It should cover all the important stuff.
Oh, I believe Scooter has a bonus question of him.
Yes. Have you, Bob Evans, ever eaten a Bob Evans product while watching a movie produced by Bob Evans?
Well, it's a funny question, and I'm going to answer it semi-seriously. I actually went to Bob Evans' restaurant. There was a strategy. It was strategic. I went there. We were traveling, and I just happened to be traveling on my 40th birthday. So I went on my 40th birthday and went and said, could I see the manager, please? And I said, my name is Bob Evans, and it's my birthday today. Can I get a free meal? And he said, yes, you can. And he gave me a free meal.
That is awesome.
Yes. And you know what? That's great business because I talk about it, and it's almost 9 years later, guys, and I'm still talking about it. So kudos to the Bob Evans Company for taking care of their customers.
That one named
you just
Bob
gotta,
Evans.
That's right.
And now you just gotta get like a little like Rosemary's Baby or The Godfather on your phone and watch it while you're eating. And got that Bob Evans trifecta.
And the last
What do you
question,
think?
the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
Have I ever had a conversation in the supermarket about Darby Allin? No, I have not.
And that is the correct answer.
I have had conversations with Darby Allin, but not in a supermarket or about supermarkets.
Oh, well, it's specifically the specific keyword in here is supermarket. Unfortunately, Darby hasn't had a conversation about himself in a supermarket either. I've asked him.
Oh well, there you go.
That's our long running joke on our Saturday show.
I have not. I've known him since he was 18.
That's crazy.
When he was a young student of Buddy Wayne's, and he went to a Ring of Honor seminar, and he was like 6 months in, and he did very well. He wasn't ready, but he hadn't figured out who he was yet. He was just Sam back then, young Sam. But now he's kicking butt, doing his thing, and I'm real proud of him. He's a good dude. So unusual guy, very unique, which is great. We need more guys like that in the business. So
thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us, Bob.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. And I hope everybody, gets a chance to check out the WrestleLife.com and take advantage of that 14-day free trial. And I think they'll really dig it. And I want to hear your feedback. Hit the contact page. Hit me up. Let me know what's up. Please let me know what you like, what you didn't like. And it's been a pleasure, guys. I've really enjoyed this, and we'll have to do a part 2 one of these days.
Oh, I would want to do it sooner rather than later.
Get some questions from the fans, and I'll come back on and answer them. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Just not much Pokemon stuff, only because I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant on the subject. So
I swear that's our only Pokemon question.
No, it's gonna be tough because I'll be like, huh? I don't know.
Well, I asked that question, and you get weird answers. Like one guy ran an underground Pokemon trading card scheme.
Oh my!
Yeah,
well,
so you don't know. Like you never know exactly what you're going to get when you do ask that question.
It's true. It's true. Pokemon is very popular, and it's a lot of people like it. So.
By the way, Anthony Idol sends his love. We interviewed him last week.
Ah, big man. Yes, big Anthony Idol. He's the man.
Yes.
Great guy. I hope to. I'm planning a trip to California hopefully later this year, and I hope I get to run into him. I wrestled him a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it. He's a hell of a talent. Good guy. Big son of a gun too.
Oh yeah. And once again, could you tell us where we can find you on social media?
Sure, you can hit me up at Bob Evans on Facebook, or I'm a Facebook guy, so or WrestleLife.com is a great place. TheWrestleLife.com, excuse me. You can go on there, and again, take advantage of our 14-day trial, guys. Doesn't cost you anything. I will even send you a reminder 12 days in, because I'm not trying to trick you or anything like that. And I will send you a reminder reminding you that I'm going to charge your credit card in a couple of days. And again, it's going to be $49 a month, but won't it be worth it if I can give you $500-600 a month back in value in straight cash? Now, again, nothing's guaranteed, but if you can follow the rules, follow the guidelines that I set forward for you, I'm pretty sure you can beat that $49 a month figure by a lot, even if you're not trying that hard. So if you follow the guidelines, you do the stuff, I think you'll be very, very pleased with the results you get. So I stand behind my product 100%, which is why I give you the 14-day free trial to check it out. So,
you got merchandise for wrestling tees?
Actually, Tim Hughes, the world famous Tim Hughes, my tag team partner, is setting up a Teespring page for us right now. and it should be out. Actually, by the time we speak, it should be out. So look up Tough Guy Inc. and Teespring, and it should be up there.
And you don't gotta even do that. All the links in the description.
Can't give you a specific thing, but
that's fair enough.
that's right. I'll send you the link, and maybe we can get it up in time. So
absolutely, all the links will be in the description of the video below.
Perfect.
On YouTube.
Fantastic.
Castbox. You've been listening to him for a little over an hour now. Join WrestleLife, damn it. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Join us next Wednesday as we interview Calvin Couture. Join us Saturday for our weekly preview and review show. You can follow Wrestling with Entertainment for all your Wrestling with Entertainment needs at Wrestling with E, both on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow us individually as well. I am at JamesJ993. You can follow Kaliko at I am Kaliko. And where can they find Scooter?
Of course, they can always find me behind them. No, you can find me on Twitter at ScooterDust. And of course, throughout the week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and sometimes even on Catil's Day, find me at Rico Constantino Jr. as part of the Smoking Dragons, Twitch.tv, /Smoking Dragons, video games, D&D, and everything in between. Every story has 20 sides. Come be part of ours. And of course, the remix, the still to this day unmatched, only live streaming alternate commentary podcast as we cover Money in the Bank.
For our very special guest, Brutal Bob Evans, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.